Excel basics. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me get it started again. So my first question is, how are you using Excel?
I use it for keeping track of data information, mileage, documents that I need to send to the tax man, that sort of thing, for record keeping.
Okay,
And I enjoy the automatic sum button immensely.
good. It's one of my favorite buttons too. Anyone else?
I use it for, I'm financial secretary for an organization, and I use it to keep track of all funds received and disbursed.
And that's a very good use for Excel. I've been there. Dorothy knows I've been there.
And I use it for the same thing as Dorothy, to keep track of all the finances. I'm the treasurer for a couple organizations. And I use it to keep track of all the funds and to make my reports on.
Right, I do a monthly report as well.
This is exactly why we should be using Excel. It's meant for those kind of purposes. I'm sorry if my screen keeps on changing. I'm trying to still see if I can get that one woman in, but I guess I can't. So anybody else have anything to share about how they're using Excel?
I'm hoping to use mine for some keeping track of expenses, rental expenses and houses, but you guys are all way more advanced than me already, I can tell, just for what you're using it for.
You know, Excel is something that you don't have to be in a business to use it. And that's the one thing that I like to get people to know, that whether you're working or not, or whether you're in a business or not, it is something that you can use, and it doesn't have to be business oriented. There are a lot of good personal uses for it as well. Okay, so my next question is, what frustrates you about using Excel?
When things move around and I don't know how to align them, or I'm frustrated that I know so little.
It's a very powerful program that could easily make you feel frustrated. Anyone else?
What frustrates me is like I'm adding something or I'm writing something in a column, and then you get these funny little numbers and stuff. I don't know what you call it. That frustrates me. Why does it do that? Or either, for instance, like if you try to put in January 21st, 2021, it'll just put January 21. Why does it do that?
Okay, we will cover things like that. And just to give you a short answer is that Excel accepts all versions of dates, and it's how Excel interprets data. So if you put it in one way and it comes out a different way, it's not that you did anything wrong. It's just that it is going to default to a particular format, but we'll show you how to change it to what you want it to say.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
I get frustrated when I wanted to do different things in a particular column, and I don't know how to get it to do that. For example, you want column A, you want to subtract column B from column A and put it in column C. I don't know the formulas, and I don't know how to set that up. Like I said, I know the auto sum, and I know how to insert a row or delete a row, and that's kind of it.
Okay, well, you're going to learn a whole lot more. And again, these are going to be very useful things. You can get really deep in the weeds with Excel, and I don't want to do that. This is to help you do whatever you're already doing, and to realize that you can do things very easily with it. Excel does all the heavy lifting, basically. And so I'm going to teach you how to get it to do the heavy lifting for you, even though it may seem very simplistic, but I think you'll get a lot out of it. Okay, so the question was, what's stopping you from using Excel? Probably the number one thing is frustration. We get frustrated when things don't do what we want it to do. So one way to stop being frustrated is to learn how to think like Excel. Now, it's really basic. As I said earlier, you are going to tell Excel where to find the numbers you want it to manipulate. See, what I think happens a lot of times is we are trying to calculate in our head what it's going to do, and we're frustrated in telling Excel what to do about that. And Excel already knows what to do. You just have to basically point it where you want it to go. So how you construct your worksheets, it's again, not very hard. And when you do it correctly, you'll find things are so easy. You have very few keystrokes and it does the rest. So here are some of the things that Excel can do for you. Reason why I really started liking this program. It does a lot of what if scenarios, and it's a very good decision-making tool. So for example, let's say you want to give, let's say you know that your tuition in a school, or let's say just say tuition in a school is going to go up, say, 3%. How much more money am I going to need? So you can actually ask that question of Excel. What if it goes up 3%? And it'll tell you how much more money that's going to be. You don't have to pull out a calculator. It'll do it for you. You might think, okay, I want to buy a car. What if I can negotiate I'm going to borrow money from the bank and I want to negotiate dropping the interest rate and see if I can afford it more? Or what if I stretch it out, instead of 5 years, I make it 7 years? So there's all kinds of decision-making tools you can use. At a payroll, what happens if I give my employees a 7% raise? How much more revenue am I going to have to make in my business so I can cover that? Things of that nature. So the what if I do X, Y, and Z? You plug in the numbers and it gives you answers to your questions. Excel does all your calculations, from simple addition to very complex formulas, functions, and algorithms. You don't have to know how all those work. It will do it for you. Excuse me while I stop this share so I can find out who this person is trying to come in. Oh, I've got 2 more people coming in. Okay. I think I've got everybody now. Let me get back to my presentation. I'm sorry to do that, but I just wanted to make sure I'm not going to miss anybody. Okay, so we were down here. Welcome, those of you that just came in. I just tried to make sure I was able to get you in. Linda Aiken, welcome. And I still don't think I've gotten Carmen in here, but. So I'm right now just talking about what Excel can do for you. And it's more than just for what if analysis. Another thing is a powerful database. And a database is something that most of us use in one form or another. I know all businesses do, the government does. It's a big table of data that they will extract information out of, and Excel will allow you to do that. And it also has data analysis tools. So if you're going to do any data analysis, you can do that. And it can simplify tables of data into graphs and charts and make data very visual and more easy to understand. And last but not least, it makes your documentation look a lot more professional. So I'm going to want you all to get familiar with this program. It's actually an online class, if you will. It's gfclearnfree.org, and it happens to be from Goodwill. It's the Goodwill Community Foundation, Learn Free. And Mary, you may not be familiar. I think, yeah, Mary and Dorothy, I think you are a little bit familiar with it. I'm going to use it as a backup. I'm going to do most of the teaching, but again, it's a place for you to go if you need a refresher, if you need to go over some of the things I talk about. So the objective today is we're going to quickly navigate the Excel user interface. There are a lot of things I imagine some of you don't know that it can do. And I'm going to talk about using the OneDrive And we're going to talk about how to create and open workbooks. So the first thing is, I want to familiarize you with the GFC Learn Free. The web browser that you can use will either be Google or Firefox. If you have iPad, I'm not that familiar with Safari, but probably will get there as well. In your address bar, you will actually enter www.gfc for Global Community Foundation learnfree.org/office. And I'm going to go there with you, and I'm going to show you how to navigate through this. Now, there's a whole lot of things on that website. It's more than just Office. There's things that teaching you basic math, teaching you just a lot of basic information, computers, etc. But we're going to concentrate on Excel. Now, I'm assuming that most of you have Excel on your computers or tablets. If you have it on a computer, that's the one that I want you to use, because on the tablet, I'm not familiar that much with using it on the tablet. The tablet is a little less user-friendly in the fact that it can't access the full features of Excel. Not that we need all the full features. In fact, most of what we're going to do is quite basic. But there are various different versions of Excel, as you know, with Microsoft Office. And Microsoft Office now is the new business format for Microsoft. They come up with a nice suite of applications, and everything now is online. So that's where we're going to go. And if you have Excel on your computer, now I can't exactly talk about the Apple platform. The Apple platform is a little different. So if you're using Apple, this might be able to help you. I don't know. I'm hoping that most of you are still using Microsoft. So I'm going to stop my share right now. Does everybody have Excel on their computer and or tablet? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody not have it? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go and I'm going to play this for you, and you can do this on your own as well. But I'm going to go to the website so that I can show you what it's going to look like and how to navigate through it. So let me, once again, I'm going to have to share. So give me a minute here. Okay, so I'm going to click on so this is GFC Global website, Learn Free. Okay, at the very top, you'll see a button that says Topics. If you click on Topics, this is all the stuff that they have these free courses on that you can go to. But we're going to concentrate on Microsoft, and I want you to click on Microsoft Office 2019. Now, basically every 3 years, Microsoft updates and adds a little more bells and whistles to their software. And with this new platform, with Office 365, it's called, it will be a subscription service. And every time they have something new, they automatically put it in the software without you having to go out and purchase it. But if it makes any major changes, the subscription cost probably goes up. But I want you to click on Microsoft Office, whether it's Office 219 or Office 216. There's nothing we're going to do, I think, is going to really make a big difference between the two, because as far as I can see, there are no big changes in Excel. So these colors might change on a daily basis, doesn't make any difference. We're going to go to the one that says Excel. Again, this is a free tutorial. You can go to it anytime you want. And we are going to start with the interface. I want you to learn your way around Excel so that you can, if something looks different, you'll understand why. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. What I'm going to start the lesson with. I'm going to start the lesson with this little video. Can everybody see this little video?
No,
No.
no,
Okay. Let me try refreshing my screen. Can you see it now?
No.
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 Oh, you can't see it. That's
We
interesting.
just have that first slide you put on.
Okay, I'm going to stop my share and go back in. Sometimes with Zoom, your screens or my screen doesn't quite refresh quick enough. So I'm going to try it once more and hopefully this time you'll see it. Do you see it now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. So this is a very short little video. Notice it tells you that you can also watch it on YouTube. And this is going to give you an overview about what we're going to go in today, but I'm going to go into more detail after it. Okay, so it's very short.
Goodwill Community Foundation, creating opportunities for a better life. Excel is a spreadsheet program that allows you to store, organize, and analyze information. You can use it to create contact lists, budgets, invoices, and just about anything else you can imagine. When you open Excel, there's a good chance you'll be taken to the Start screen first. From here, you can access recent workbooks or create something new, either from scratch or from a template. And this is a beautiful pink workbook. Next, I'm going to take a minute to explain the interface to make sure you know where you're going. Let's begin with the collection of tools and features at the top of the screen. The ribbon is divided into tabs and
Can't hear the voice.
Oh,
home, so you can easily find what you're looking for. There are also language tabs. For example,
okay.
has everything you need to learn text.
Okay. Let me basically say what she's talking about. I don't know why you can't hear it, but if you can't hear it, it's not going to make much sense to you. So she's talking about the interface. And it's important that you understand the pieces of the screen because when you want to do something, you need to know where to go. So if you can all see this, you probably have heard of the ribbon. The ribbon is this area underneath your tabs. The tabs are the things that say formula and data and review. All of that are called tabs. Now, the newest software, they don't look as much like tabs as they do in this particular version, which is 2016. But underneath the tabs is a ribbon of functions, things, tasks that you can do. They're very common tasks. So that's what she's showing here and showing you how they're grouped by tasks. So alignment task means how you're going to move your data on your workbook, whether it's going to be in the center or you want things to what's the word, wrap text, etc. Your font is how you want things to look. One of the most important things, and I'm just going to go over this myself. I'm not going to follow the videos if you can't hear it. So as you can see underneath the ribbon, and this is the most important part about Excel, is this bar here called the formula bar. Can you guys see my mouse moving back and forth?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. This to me is the most important part of Excel because this tells you exactly what you are looking at in Excel. To the left of that is 3 little buttons. The first one with the little X is the cancel. The next one, the check mark, is the one that basically is like pressing the enter key and saying, okay. And this FX is basically talking about your function. What function are you going to insert in here? To the left of that, you see where it says A1. This is your name box. Your name box is very important too because it tells you where you are located in your grid. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of this and I'm going to actually open up my Excel. If you have Excel, on your screen right now, or you have it on a tablet or something, you might want to go there. I would like it to be kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, interactive for you. So I'm going to open up Excel so that when I demonstrate, and you can demonstrate yourself. Go back to share screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So if I click in cell A1, and I'm calling it cell A1 because the way the Excel worksheet is organized is that columns are lettered and rows are numbered. And this is called a cell reference. So this is telling, Excel is saying, this is where you're located. Right now, I'm located in G8. So wherever I click the cell, the intersection between a row and a column is called a cell. And you'll see a border around it. And that lets you know where you are. Now, what's important about this is that you have to know how Excel relates to data. There's 5 different kinds of data that Excel works with. The first one would be what we call a label. So I'm going to type in my name. And when you type in any data inside a cell, you must press the enter key to let it know that you finished entering data in that cell. If you don't, it won't let you do other things because it's still waiting for more data. So labels, of course, are things that can be alphanumeric, letting you know the name of a particular kind of data. So I typed in my name. The other thing that it likes to use as data are values. So I'm going to type in a value, a number. Now I want you to notice on the screen that labels will always be on the left side of the cell, left justified. See how my name Gina is on the left, and when you do a value, it's going to be at face value, it's a number, and it will always be on the right side of your cell. So if you ever type in a number and it's on the left side of your cell, that means Excel is looking at it as a label. It has no numerical value whatsoever. So that tells you that, it's not going to calculate this. It's looking at it as if it's, my name. Okay. If you want to put in a date, and I hope some of you in the future, when I go over this, that maybe you might put me on the phone and have your computers with Excel open so that you can go through this with me, because I don't know if you guys are sharing your screen, having me on one side and Excel on the other or not. But if you can, I'm going to put in the third kind of data, which is put in a date. Now I'm going to give you a shortcut for putting in a date without typing anything. If you hold down your control key on your keyboard and press your semicolon key, it puts in the current date.
Oh my gosh.
I did not type it in there. Control semicolon puts in the current date. Okay. Now, as I mentioned to you before, it puts in the date in a default format, but you can change that format. You might have typed in there, let's say you typed in the date and you put, 9-SCPT, something like that, and it comes up and you hit enter and it pops up like it is on the screen right now. It's because that's the format that it's currently looking at, but you can change that. So let me, okay. So as you can see right now that I have the ribbon visible and the date is here, but I want you to look at over here. Let me go back to the date. Notice up here where it says number format. Does everybody see that?
Mhm.
Okay, it says date. Okay, so if I type in something that doesn't look like a date, it's not going to look like a date. It has to be a date format. So I'm going to click on the little drop down here. And notice there's a short date and a long date. There are all kinds of date formats that it'll accept. So if the date format that you want is not showing is probably because it's setting itself on a different format. Okay, we'll get into that a little later. So I talked about labels, I talked about numbers, and I'm going to talk about basically a formula, one of those things that we use so much in Excel. So I'm going to type in cell A4, the number 2. I'm going to press the tab key to go to the next cell. And I'm going to type in, let's say, just any number, 78. And then I'm going to go to the third cell, which is blank. Now, a formula is going to be any mathematical or algebraic expression. So I'm going to do something really simple. I'm going to put in a simple formula of addition. To create a formula in Excel, you start with pressing the equal sign. That tells Excel that they're going to calculate. Now, rather than just type in the cell location, I'm going to point to the cell location with my mouse. Rather than type A4, I'm going to use my mouse and click in cell A4. And it puts it in the cell. I'm telling Excel where to find the value that I wanted to add. So I'm saying, okay, Excel, display the value of A4. And plus, I want you to add that to the value found in B4. Okay. And if I hold down my shift key and press enter, I should have put control instead of shift. Okay, so what I see is 80. Okay, but look up in the formula bar, it says what's actually in cell A and C4 is not 80. It is the result of a formula that says to add the value in A4 to the value in B4. Now you might think, well, why didn't it just put in here equals 2 plus 78? The reason why is because suppose I want to change a number. Let's say I want to change this number to 125, 152. When I hit enter, it updates the result. This is the power of Excel, is that it will, I guess a better way of putting it is there's input and there's output. Input are going to be numbers that can possibly change. Output is going to be the result of something, typically a formula or a function. So no matter what I do not have to redo this formula. I don't have to recalculate. It will do it for me. If I change this number, it automatically updates. If I had typed in here initially equals 2 plus 78, when I updated the number, I have to go back and change my formula. So that's the reason why I say what you're doing is you're telling Excel where to find the values, and then you tell it what to do with those values. I don't have to add that in my head. I just let Excel do it. Okay? Does that make sense?
Just to clarify that, you go equals and then you hit A4 and then you put plus B4 and then that will give you that.
Right. So
Okay.
equal sign, it tells Excel that you want to calculate. And I could type A4 plus B4, but I like Excel to do all the work. And Excel says, if you tell me where to find the value, and I point to A4, it puts in the cell reference itself. And because I'm adding, of course, I use the plus. And then I'm going to click on B4. I'm telling Excel, find the value located in A4 and add the value found in B4 and display it in C4. Okay. Now, the other thing it does is a function. A function is basically a pre-formatted formula. There are over 350 of these things. And I'm going to click on the tab that says formulas. And it says function library. They're over 350, and they're all organized in groups. There are financial functions, logical functions, etc., and they're all listed here. This FX is called an insert function. So if I wanted to insert a particular function, I can click here, and we're going to go into this a whole lot more detail. I'm just giving you a real quick overview right now. This will list all the functions in alphabetical order, and there are a lot of them. Now, do you have to know all of them? Of course not. If there's a particular function like average or standard deviation or some kind of thing like that, it'll be in there. But if it's a function that you've never heard of, don't know anything about, you can learn to use it, but unless you know what you're going to do, you wouldn't be going to a lot of these particular functions.
I see. Okay.
Okay. Now, I want to show you something that I'm not sure many of you know, the exact power of this program. So you might think, well, I don't mind typing equals A4 plus B4. That's easy. But I want to show you just how big one sheet of Excel is. Now, as you can see, we have this grid, and my particular screen shows columns A through M. Yours might be something else. Yours might be A through Z or whatever. And I've got 17 rows. Rows are numbered and columns are lettered. So I'm going to click in any cell, and I'm going to show you just how wide one sheet is. I'm going to hold down my control key and press my right arrow key. And it took me to column XFD.
Wow.
Yes, that's, can anybody guess how many columns that might be? Anybody want to just gander a guess? Don, do you by any chance know? Because I know you use Excel.
Well, I'd guess 1,000.
A lot more. Anybody else?
10,000.
More. 16,385 columns.
Wow.
One sheet.
I've never
Yeah.
seen an Excel spreadsheet that big. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when I first found that out, I thought, really? Who needs that? I actually found somebody who uses that kind of stuff. He was in oil production. Now, that's just how wide it is. Now let's see how deep it is. How many rows are there? Again, I'm going to hold down my control key and press my down arrow. And this is the very last row and last column of one Excel sheet, 1,048,576. Okay, which means you can put a massive amount of data in one sheet. Now, with the memory of computers these days, can you imagine how much you can put into Excel? You can hide all kinds of data far, far apart in just one worksheet. And with the computer memories we have now, you can have as many sheets as your computer memory will handle. So I could have 100 sheets and I can have them fully full of data. Okay. This is just one sheet. Now, to get back to cell A1, I don't want to have to scroll through all that. If you can see on your screen or my screen, these little boxes, this is a scroll bar telling me I'm going up, and the one on the bottom telling me I'm going to the left. Well, that can take quite a while. The quickest way to get to the very beginning is to hold down the control key and press your control home. Your control home will always take you back to cell A1. The home key.
Where's home?
Okay, it depends on your computer. On mine, it's up top on the numbers row, but typically it's in your navigation keys, which will have a page up, a page down, a home, an end. I can't see your computers, but it's part of the navigation. I'm sorry, someone said something? My,
Sorry, talking to myself.
yeah, that used to be in a standard place, and I've noticed my new computer is in a different place. It took me a while to find my home key. If you don't have a number pad, it's sometimes in the bottom right of your keyboard, and you'll see 4 little buttons, an up, a down, or left and a right. Those are called navigation keys. And you might see it says page up, page down, and then it'll say home and end. If you can find those keys, and my battery's about to die on my computer. Just a second. Let me plug it in before it dies on me. Everybody found their home key?
No.
No? Like I said, I can't show you mine.
I'm
Let's see.
trying to shift to the computer now.
Let me see if I can show you my old computer. I'm going to stop my share for a second so I can see you guys. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Where's my finger? Oh, there we go. So on this older computer, here are my navigation keys. So I have a left, right, up, page down, and a home and an end key. And not the letter N, but the word END. So if you can find buttons like that on your tablet or not tablet, but your laptop or a computer, if you hold down the control key and press, the right arrow key, it will take you to the furthest column, and control down arrow, then that would take you to the very last row.
Oh, I do see the home key.
Okay. So that's just a little tidbit, just in case you're curious. But yeah, most of us don't use that much in one sheet, but you can put all kinds of data in your worksheet, and it can be hundreds and thousands of columns and rows apart. Mary Green,
Yeah, I'm trying to come in on the computer now.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, turn off your phone. They don't get all that echo.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to my screen again to continue just showing you again. Now, let's see, where did I leave off? So I talked about how big one sheet is, and I'm going to talk about some of the other cool things that you may not know about your Excel. So if you have your Excel worksheet out, and we call it worksheets and books as opposed to we're calling things documents. If you type something, I just want you to find an empty cell and let's type the number 10 and press enter. So you have a value of 10 in this particular cell. Now let's say I want to label, say 10, 15, 25, 30, 35, etc. I don't want to type it all in there. So in the cell next to your 10, I want you to type 15. Okay. Now I want to go from 10 to say 75. I don't want to type all those numbers in. So I am going to actually click on 10, hold my left mouse button down and move over to 15. And that way I have it selected. And in the bottom right corner, you will see a little box. Let's see if I can zoom in so maybe you can see it better. Okay, do you see the tiny little box at the bottom right corner of your selection? You hold your left mouse button down and drag it so you see 75. You'll notice that Excel filled it in for you in increments of 5.
Okay, no.
That's a nice little shortcut. What's
Didn't work
nice,
for me. I don't get that little box.
okay, let me stop my share and see who's talking. Who just said that? So I can,
Eddie, I'm sorry.
okay, Eddie. All right, Eddie, if you, when you click on, did you click on both your 10 and your 15?
I've got my desktop and my laptop. I'm working both. I've clicked on the column 10 with the number 10 in it.
Okay.
And with the left button on the mouse.
Okay, let me demonstrate. This is important. This is a really very cool feature that you can get a lot of use out of. When you click on a cell and you see a white plus inside that cell, that's just having it selected. That's just saying, okay, here it is. It doesn't do anything. But you have to click on the first cell and the second cell that has the interval. So they're both selected. And you have to go down to the bottom right. It's a small little box. If you move your mouse to the very bottom right of your selection, you'll see a black plus sign. When you see the black plus sign, then hold down your left mouse button and then drag. And you'll notice that it will increase whatever your interval is.
It's not doing it on mine because I'm not getting that plus when you go in that first column with a 10. And when I move it over to the 15, I'm not getting the little icon on the far right hand corner.
What version of Excel do you have by any, do you know?
Probably, I don't know, the latest. I can look in a minute here.
I think you
And
definitely have it. It's been there for a while.
I have a question.
oh,
Yes,
2010.
yeah, you've got that feature. That's an
Okay.
old version. Okay.
I don't have a regular mouse. I'm on a MacBook Air. I just have the pad. So do I just use the left side of that? I could with a mouse?
Now, when it comes to Mac, I do not have a Mac. I don't know. And I know they do things differently, a lot differently.
Okay. Yeah, I learned that.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, you started with the, you use control and you click on the 10?
No,
Is
I
that
didn't
right?
I did not use control. I
Oh,
just
okay,
simply-
so
just click and drag.
just,
Select that. You have to have this.
got
Got
it.
it? You got it? Okay, just a minute.
Okay,
I thought
yes.
my computer was plugged in. Let me plug it in. It's not charging. Just a second.
Okay.
Okay, we're back in business. Yes, I only held down the control key when I was trying to get to the last row and column, but we're not doing that. I'm just showing you how it can take fill in numbers for you. So if I
Okay.
didn't click on both the 10 and the 15, if I just clicked on the 10 and use it's called a fill handle. This little black plus is called a fill handle. When you drag it over, it's just going to fill in whatever number that you've highlighted. Notice that when I did it this time, it just said 1010. But up here, when I select both the 10 and the 15, because it has to recognize the interval, now when I drag it, it's going to, fill it in 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so whether it's 10, I just chose that number, could be anything.
Yeah,
It could
okay.
also be, let's say you've got parts. You have parts that are, X, XM-1. And they go up, incrementally by 1. So the next one is going to be XM-2. Even though I've got letters, I'm going to select both and it's going to increase it by 1.
Wow.
And it will go up, it can go across or it can go down. And if I overextend it, I can back up and it will delete. Now that's numbers. Now here's some that we all can use. Let's say I want to say January, February, March, etc. I'm using the abbreviation. I use my autofill handle. It fills in everything automatically. And if I spell it correctly, and I can do the same thing, it'll give me the full, especially if you have problems spelling February. It'll do the same thing for days of the week. So if I type in Monday, not mom, Monday, it'll fill in the rest of the week. And again, if I can't spell Wednesday, it will spell it for me.
Oh, wait a minute here. Okay.
Now, this is Eddie again. How did you get it to do? I've got the one where it will fill in automatically, but how did you get it to go 10, 15, 20, 25?
Okay, I had to let Excel see the interval. Somebody just came in. Just a minute, let me make sure I let them in. Who just came in? Okay, I guess somebody left. You must let Excel see the interval. So if you want to increase the interval by 10, 20, whatever, it has to see the interval. So the first cell has the original number in it, like 10, and you type in the 10, and then you have to show the interval. So the next cell is going to say 15. And now you have to select both so it can see there's a difference between the two cells. And it sees an interval of 5. So now when you use your fill handle, it'll fill in the increment of 5. It has to be a consistent one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So another one that automatically does, let's say you're doing something, I want Q1. I want the four quarters. It will automatically put in the 4 quarters. Okay,
Okay, so you hit control what now?
not hitting control at all. I'm just typing in a cell. In this case, I put in Q1. I abbreviate it. And I want to have Q1 through 4. If I just grab the fill handle is that little black plus at the bottom right corner of your cell. And when I drag it, it fills in. These are things that are by default in Excel because these are very common things that people will put in their worksheets. So you can see how you can very quickly create a worksheet without doing a whole lot of typing because there's a lot of things that it automatically recognizes. And the same thing with dates. Notice the date that I have in my cell A3, today's date. If I use my autofill handle, it will automatically, it will automatically give me the other dates. Now, this is something that I'm glad happened that I need to explain to you because I'm sure some of you have seen this before.
Yeah.
You type this and you're like, what the heck happened here? What these pound signs or hashtags, whatever you want to call them, what this means is that the width of the column is too narrow to display the data. Doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. So if I want 9/21/2021 to show, I'm going to have to widen the column. So here's my column, the letter B. If I move my mouse to the far right of that column, and do you see the double-headed arrow that's pointing left and right?
Yes.
Okay, with your left mouse button, double click, and it widens it enough so that you can see the data that's in there. Now, if I want to do that for the rest of these columns without doing it individually, I'm going to select column C through H, and I'm going to go to the last column, get that double-headed arrow and double click, and it widens all of those columns simultaneously.
Okay.
So that only happens, sometimes you'd be surprised when it happens. You're thinking, gee, I didn't think, the columns were not that wide, but they were. So that's how you do that.
Gina,
Yes.
sometimes when I try that technique to widen, instead of getting the narrow cross sign that you just showed, it's a thicker.
Okay,
What's going on then when I can't get the narrow one?
okay. Let me talk about the symbols that your mouse will show you when you're in a cell.
Okay,
Because sometimes you're doing things that you don't want to do because you've got the wrong symbol. So when I select a cell, I'm just going to click on January here. So notice there's a white plus when I move my mouse over January. That just means it's selected, okay? If I move my mouse down anywhere on the border, now I see a 4-headed arrow. You see that 4 arrows? This is the move icon. If you hold down your left mouse button, it moves that cell.
Oh,
If I see the black plus sign, it is autofill. So you must pay attention to what symbol you're looking at. Sometimes you think you are going to, let's say you're thinking I'm going to autofill and you actually move instead. Now, when I'm at a row or a column, notice that when I hover over my column, I'm at column D, I get a down arrow. And if I click on the letter D, it is highlighting all 1,048,000, whatever, all the entire worksheet. Every row in that worksheet is now highlighted. Okay. If I go to a row and do the same thing, here, row 13, you'll see that right arrow pointing to the right. That means all 16,000 some columns are highlighted. Okay. So the symbol in your cell, whatever your mouse is, it's very important to pay attention to it. If I just want to select January, February, March, I just click and drag, and as long as I see that plus, it's not doing anything. It's just selecting it. It's just saying, here, I'm highlighting this for you. It's not doing anything to it, but all these other symbols will actually do something. It will move, or it will autofill, okay? So it's important to understand that. Now, you're asking me about a thick line, Dorothy. I don't know what thick line, I don't remember a thick
right. Well,
line.
you showed it. Okay, that one that you're showing now
Uh-huh.
is what I use when I want to increase the width of a column.
Right.
Sometimes when I want to increase the width, I get that other one that you were showing that says you're selecting with it.
Oh, okay. So
And
you're getting
that one. I get that one
Yeah.
when I'm trying to widen a column.
Well, you can't, because when you see this, you're not in the column, you're in a cell.
Okay, so
If you look over, it says D13 in this case. If you click, all we're doing is highlighting a cell. Here we are selecting all 1 million rows in that column.
okay, so I'm just not hitting at the right point.
Right, you're not hitting the right point.
I concluded that it wouldn't widen because I already had information there. So I have been taking out the information to get it to work. Okay.
Okay. If you want to widen the column, if you want to do anything to a column or a row, you must select the column indicator or the row indicator. If you don't, you're simply selecting a cell.
Okay.
So this affects the entire column. This affects the entire row. And that's across, like I said, 16,000 columns or 1 million rows.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try. In the future, I'll pay attention to where my cursor is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
This is
Okay.
Don.
Stacy, Don, you said that I should enlarge my pointer.
Yeah, it's extremely hard to see. It's so small. But I'm having a problem doing the autofill horizontally. You know, when you did Q1, Q2, Q3.
Okay. I mean, you can spell out the word quarter or you could abbreviate it. I don't think you can put Q1. Let me see. if
Well,
I-
let's say 10 and 15, then how do I do the 20, 25?
Okay, whatever interval that you wanted to, let's say I just wanted to go from 1 to 10, and I don't want to type 1 and 10. I type in number 1 in one cell, and the adjacent cell, I type in number 2. And I want it to go 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Now I must select the first 2 numbers because it has to see what the interval is. In this particular case, the interval is 1. You have to select them both, go to the autofill handle, and then drag.
See, maybe the problem is I have the Excel 365, the new version.
Yeah, this is 365.
Well, it's not doing it for me. Dang it.
Okay, I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to see if I can give you the ability to share your screen. And you do have the ability to share your screen. So,
I had to turn my video camera off because I was getting a warning message, lack of resources,
okay.
when I opened the Excel program.
Let me see if I can see what you're doing. I'm going to try to increase, I'll have to change my computer settings to have a bigger arrow because I don't have it set that way. So,
Gina, this is Eddie. On mine, I have Microsoft 10 and it doesn't come up with a square. It comes up with a plus sign. And if you put that in the corner, it does the same thing as what you're saying. And that may be what Dawn is not seeing because I had to play with it to get it to do that.
sometimes that plus sign can be hard to see.
Right.
It's small, but it's in the very bottom right corner. And I can't seem to make my screen any bigger. Well, let me try. See if I can make my screen bigger. That little plus sign is still, it's a black plus. Remember, there's
Right.
a white plus, which is just a selection. It doesn't do anything, but the black plus sign is your autofill.
Oh,
Okay, maybe that's what the confusion is.
no.
There's a white plus and there's a black plus. The white plus just selects, just highlights. The black plus is the one that actually does the autofill. And the 4-headed arrow is the one that moves stuff. Don, are you still?
Well, I'm trying to do it on my Excel spreadsheet while you're doing yours. And for some reason, I get the white plus.
Move your mouse slowly down to, because even when you first select the cell, you will see that little square. There's a tiny little square at the bottom right corner, and not until you
Yes.
use your mouse to move over that little square does it become a black plus sign.
I have it now.
And then hold down
Okay.
your left mouse button and drag it.
Had to enlarge my screen some.
Yeah.
My eyes must be getting old.
You're not alone. We all can raise our hand on that one.
But it's not doing the autofill. It's just giving me January, January, January.
Okay. If it's giving you January, it is giving you the autofill. You just have one word there. Well, no, wait a minute. With January, it shouldn't do that. It should be January, February, March. It should do it that way. Let's move on, and you can practice that. And right after the class, I might be able to help you individually. Okay.
I got it.
Who's that?
That's
Joe.
Linda, and I got it, because
Oh.
the holding the cursor over the little black square helped.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes.
Got it. Oh,
Okay, well, good. It's something that you can practice. All right. Let me go back to my screen and let's see if I've covered everything. I want to make sure that I've covered everything for everybody for this orientation. I think I have. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the number of sheets. As you can see at the bottom left of your window, you'll see it says sheet 1. And there's a little plus in a circle to the right of that. That's how you add additional sheets. So if I want to add a new sheet, I click on it and now it says sheet 2. And I click on it again, it says sheet 3. Now, what's nice about this is that you can also rename these sheets. So I can, I'm going to double click on sheet 1 and it highlights, and I'm going to type practice. Oops. Then hit enter. So you can rename these sheets. You just don't have to have a bunch of numbers. And again, you can click as many sheets as your computer can possibly handle. And you'd have to be quite a power user to do that. You can also color the sheets. If I right click on a sheet tab, you should see an option that says tab color. And I can choose a particular color. And the color will be kind of subdued when it is active. But when you click off of it, go to a different sheet, you'll notice it darkens in color. It's the color that you actually chose. So that's how you can tell whether you're on the active sheet or not. An active sheet will have a subdued color. An inactive sheet will have a much more pronounced color, more saturated.
This is Eddie again.
Yes.
And on a row, let's say that you want to have the information be centered in that row. Can you click on the row and hit that you want it centered by, it doesn't show on yours right now, but let's say on the alignment page, and will that center that whole row?
Yes, we'll get into that in a little more detail, but just
Sorry.
to quickly demonstrate, if I wanted my name in this particular cell at this particular width, if I wanted it centered in the alignment group, it would center it. But if you have a very big name, it's not going to, you're not going to see that, and we will talk about that later. So
Sorry.
that's okay. I had printed this out and I'm trying to find, I don't know what happened to my cell, but I will, when I find it, I will email to all of you. What I have here is the course calendar telling you week by week what we're going to go over, so you know ahead of time. Okay. But I was trying to find it this morning. For some reason, I don't know where I put it, but I'll get it to you. Okay. So one of the things that I want to stress is for you, I mean, you have a whole week to start playing around with these things. And I want you to open up your Excel and just play around with how it reacts to data. So let me show you a couple other things that I think you need to know. One of my favorite things, if anybody's taken a course from me, is the fact that I love the undo key. The undo key can undo a lot, even in Excel. So on the top of your window, you should see it says book 1, and to the left is what we call the quick access toolbar, the QAT. And this button with the arrow that goes backwards, this is your undo key. You can undo a lot of things by just simply clicking on it, and it will undo in the order that you did it. Now, oftentimes you don't want to just keep on clicking. If you click on the little drop down arrow, it'll show you how many things you have done. So mine shows that if I tried to cancel it right now, I have 61 actions that I can right now press the enter key and my worksheet is going to go blank. Or if I want to just undo one at a time, but I'm just going to undo my 61 actions by pressing the enter key. Now I've got a blank worksheet. Rarely do you need to do that. Rarely do you get that far along in this thing. Oh, forget the whole thing, right? But I could also redo. Notice now on my heading there, the button goes to the right and I can redo everything just by clicking on it or by going back to the bottom where it says 61 actions. Come on. Oh, it says 49 actions now. My point is sometimes you just want to undo things rather than figure out how you did it in the first place. Okay. I know oftentimes I don't feel like going through all the keystrokes to undo something. I just simply click my undo until it gets back to where I want it to look. A shortcut.
Why is it hiding now? You don't see the undo symbol.
It's still there. You don't see my undo?
It's still there?
Yeah. My undo is still here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So again, I just showed the extreme, but typically we just click on it until it gets to where we want it to be. Okay. So it's my favorite button in the whole wide world because, like I said, it's quick. I don't have to remember how did I get here? What did I do? I just undo it. There is a shortcut key that you can use that's good. It's not only in Word or Excel. If you hold down the Control key and press the letter Z, Control Z will do the same thing. It will undo things. Now there is no redo with, I don't know if a shortcut for redo, let me see, is there a shortcut for redo? Oh yes, there is. The shortcut for redo is Control Y. Yes, that makes sense, Control Y, Control Z. I've never really tried the Control Y, to be honest with you, but there it is. So typically in any Microsoft Office environment, there are basically three ways to do things. You can do it by using the ribbon. You can do it by using the mouse. When you click, let me talk about the mouse in case you don't know this. If you know this, it's just a refresher. The mouse has, let me turn my thing off for a second. Okay, so your mouse has three buttons. You have a left mouse button, a right mouse button, and a scroll button. Now, when I say left mouse button, if you're right-handed, your index finger will be the left mouse button. Your middle finger will be the right mouse button. If you're left-handed, then instead of saying left mouse and right mouse, I'll say primary and secondary. Primary is going to be where your index finger is, and your secondary will be where your middle finger is. Okay, so if you're holding the mouse any other way, it can be a little difficult. You might be clicking on things you don't mean to, because the left mouse button or the primary mouse button, by the way, is anybody here left-handed? No? Oh, okay, then I can say left and right. Okay, so your left mouse button will always execute. Okay, that means it knows what you want to do, and when you click it, something happens. The right mouse button will always give you what we call a context menu. So that means it'll give you a list of options that are active for that particular place on your window. So if I am, I'm going again, once again, do my screen here. So if I wanted to do something to this cell, if I right click, these are the options of what I can do with a blank cell. If I click on this cell here, I've got similar options, but a little different. If I right click up here on my ribbon, I have these options. If I right click on a row, I have these options. So it all depends on what you're clicking on. And anytime you click your right mouse button, you're going to get a list of things, which means nothing will happen until you choose another option. Okay. So for example, if I click on this row, this tells me I can insert or delete an entire row. Now, what happens if I do the same thing for just one cell? It tells me I can insert. Notice here, there are 3 little dots after the insert. But when I did it over here, there are no dots after the word insert. These little dots are called ellipses. Anytime you get an option that has an ellipsis, the 3 little dots, that means it won't do anything until you make another choice. So here, if I click insert, it's telling me, okay, if you want to insert, you can insert a shell. You can shift cells to the right, going down, entire row, etc. I don't get that option when I click on the row. If I want to insert, it's going to automatically insert a row. Okay, it just inserted a row right there. Because before, I'm going to undo, before the row had data in it. And when I clicked insert row here, it inserted a blank row, all 16,000 plus columns. So one of the things you can do to get used to Word and Excel, is when you see an option and you're afraid, because a lot of people are afraid to just play around and see what happens. If you see the 3 dots, that means nothing will happen until you make another choice. If you don't see dots, that means it's going to automatically do something. FYI. Okay.
Great.
Okay. I'm going to go to a blank sheet and let's see. So I talked about the formula bar. I talked about the name box. These are really key features. Now I'm going to, again, I'm going to type in a number. I'm going to type in data and just a label. I'm going to do a formula like I did before, 2 and 3 and 5. And I'm going to do a simple addition equals, A3 plus B3 plus C3, and I'm going to press enter. And last but not least, I'm going to put in today's date, control semicolon. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? I just want to tell you why I say that the formula bar is very, very important. Because when you open up a workbook, oftentimes you'll see nothing but numbers. You'll see all kinds of numbers and some labels, and you don't know which cell is a value, which cell has a function, which cell has a formula, because you don't want to be clicking all over the sheet trying to figure all this out. So there is what's called a formula view, which is something I use quite a bit, especially when people send me worksheets and I want to know, okay, are they just typing in numbers or are they actually having the workbook calculate things? If you hold down your control key and this little symbol called a tilde, it's the little squiggle. My unofficial term is squiggle, control squiggle. But anyway, this particular symbol, if you look on your computer, you'll see an escape key in the very upper left-hand corner. And below that is a button that has that little wavy tilde. It's an accent key in Spanish. You hold down the control key and just press that button. You will get control. Oh, I forgot. Okay, why is it not happening? Function. The new computer,
Look like,
that's not happening on my computer right now, and it's because I think I've got the scroll button. They have changed so much on computer keyboards these days. It's really hard to there we go. Okay, did you see how my screen just changed? What I pressed was Control and the Windows key and the little squiggle. Used to be time that the function keys just had one function. Now they have all kinds of functions. So now you might notice on your computer laptops, you'll have an FN key, and you'll have a Windows key, and you'll have an Alt key, and they all have some particular function. But if you have an older laptop and maybe you just press Control and the squiggle, what you see here is showing you exactly what is in this worksheet. So I'm going to press it again so you can see the difference. It's called a toggle. This is your worksheet view. This is your formula view. So if I open up a worksheet and I press, in my particular case, Control, Windows key, and the squiggle, it's showing me that I've got I've got data, values. These are the values, okay? This is the result of the formula. It shows me that in D3 is actually a formula, not the number, whatever the number was. And over here, you might wonder, what is this number over here, 44459? Can anybody guess what that number means? Anyone? This is actually today's date. So you look in the formula bar, you see it says 9/20/2021. This is how Excel reads a date. Now, what does that number mean? This tells me that September 20th, 2021 is 44,459 days from January 1st, 1900. That's what that number means. And the reason why that's important, when you do functions that include dates, Excel has to look at it in a serial way, so that if I want to subtract one date from another, you might say, okay, I started work on January 15th in 2008, and I want to know how many years and days I've been here from that date to today. Excel can do that for you. And that's because it looks at it as a serial number. It will make that calculation. It will be another number, but it knows how to convert it into a date. Okay. Now, in case you can't remember how to get to this using the shortcut key, you can also find it under the Formulas tab. And you will see in the Formula Auditing group a button that says Show Formulas. And it does it that way. Now, when I was teaching Excel, this was really important because I would tell students, where to put in their formulas. And I could tell when they weren't doing that, because when I went into my formula view, I'd see just a number. So which means they pulled out their little calculator and typed in a number. Oh, didn't realize that I can pull back the curtain. Okay. But that also will help you if you happen to go into a worksheet and sometimes the numbers don't look right. It'll tell you why it's not looking right. It's also, we'll talk about that later. But I just wanted to give you some idea of what Excel can do and some of the things that can help you as you are learning how to use it, and some of the things that will save you time and energy when you are putting together your worksheets. Any questions so far? No? Okay. I hope that so far this has been very helpful to you. And we're just in the very beginning. So let's talk a little bit about the OneDrive. So I'm going to go back to see. Okay, I'm going to get out of the video. Let's see if I can get out of the video. Okay. So you might want to, on your own, when you get into the website here, just to refresh your memory, I've gone over a lot of what they talk about, but in much more detail than they did. And so we talked about the parts of the window. And by the way, if you go into this, notice they have this little visual here that if you click on the little plus, it tells you what it does. So it'll tell you about the name box, etc. So if you go through that, it talks about the ribbon. We've talked about the ribbon. One thing I forgot to mention, this part right here about how you can display the ribbon or not display it. So I will demonstrate by going back to my share.
You can't see your screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing it. No wonder. Thank you. Okay, so let me go back to what I was saying. This is the video that I didn't show you because you couldn't hear it, but when you go through this particular screen here has little pluses, and if you click on the plus, it's going to identify parts of the screen. Okay. And one part that I didn't go over is this part right here, which I want to go over very, very quickly. So if you want to go back to my screen. Where is my screen? Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, up at the top. Some people like to have, they don't want to see a bunch of stuff at the top of their screen. So to the far right, at the very top, the color bar, what we call the title bar, you should see a little box. It says ribbon display options. When you click on that, if you don't want to see the ribbon at all, you click on the first option and it gives you a full screen without seeing the ribbon. Now, if you want to see the ribbon so that you can go to the various different groups and buttons, you would probably choose, you can choose the tabs where you see the tabs here, file, home, insert, these are tabs. And when you click on it, the new version now has just an underline under that tab. The older version made it look like a tab. It would be a little bit of outline, but now it just underlines it. But these are the tabs. And if you want to see it the way I've shown it to you earlier, where you see both tabs and commands, you use the third option. So if you happen to click on into your Excel and you don't see what you want to see, if you see something like this, you're thinking, where's everything? How can I do anything? Just go to the little, to me, it looks like a shade, a window shade, but anyway, that's how you get that back. Okay. Okay, going back to, I want to talk about the OneDrive. That's what I was going to. So again, you can go through all of this. And at the very end of this, there's going to be what they call a challenge. And again, you don't have to go through all this if you don't want to, but this gives you some information that I didn't get to today. And at the very end, it says challenge. So basically the challenge is having you do a few things that you just learned. And it's just one little thing. And everything you need to know is right here. They'll tell you to open up a workbook, blah, blah, blah. And when you finish that, when you see this button that says continue, that will take you to the next lesson. So if I click here, and we are going to talk about the OneDrive. Now the OneDrive, a lot of you have probably heard about the cloud. Everything is cloud driven these days. Is because software needs so many updates and things. And before, when everybody would buy a disk and insert it in their computer and download it, the companies couldn't manufacture the updates fast enough. And so a lot of people weren't getting updates and things. So now things are done what we call seamlessly. The OneDrive, and the reason why people are using clouds, they're calling it various different things, Google Drive, OneDrive, whatever, is because people are very mobile. And back in the day when you saved a file, it located itself on your computer, physically on your computer. And if you went, maybe, you had your computer at home and you went to the office and you needed that file, it's like, oh shoot, I left that file at home. If you didn't copy it onto a thumb drive or something like that, you didn't have access to it. Because of everybody so mobile these days, they want one place that you can access the file anywhere, no matter where you are, as long as you have an internet connection. So you don't have to run around carrying thumb drives and disk and things. So when you save things to the OneDrive, it's in one location. It's not local on your machine whatsoever. It is in the so-called cloud. And so when you go to your office or you're in the library or whatever, you can access the internet and open up your OneDrive and download your file. So that's what the OneDrive is. And one thing that's the advantage of it is that it is backed up. Hard drives eventually can fail. So, and most people don't back up their hard drives. So there's been a push for people to access their files anywhere. And you could also share files, which I have found recently useful. I sent all of you my file about Zoom. Did everybody look at that PowerPoint presentation on Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay. I could not send that to you through email because of the fact that it was 42 megabytes big, and most emails will let you maybe 20 megabytes, maybe 10, but not 42. So I wanted to make sure you had the information. So I shared it from my OneDrive. So that on my OneDrive, it's a big bloated file, but I just gave you the link so that you can open it from my OneDrive and see it without me having to email it to you. Okay. It's something that I've just recently started doing. Typically, I've always emailed things to people, or when I was using Canvas, I used it that way. So the one thing about it is that you have to access your own OneDrive. Everybody gets a OneDrive with Office 365. And it has, I think, half a terabyte or a terabyte of storage, which is a lot. You know, a gigabyte is billions. A terabyte, I don't even know what that number is. A terabyte is however big a terabyte is. So then I think it must be 100,000 gigabytes. But anyway, when you are in your Word or Excel and you want to save a file and you click on the saved as, you'll see, as this picture shows, that OneDrive, there's a personal OneDrive that everybody has. So when you click on that, the OneDrive opens and allows you to save things to it. It saves things online. Now, here's the kicker. With Excel, right now on your computer, if you have Excel on your physical computer, you have the full robust version of Excel. If you have Excel on your tablet, you have an online version. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that the full version has. So there's a difference. Most of what if you use Excel a whole lot and use all that stuff, then you want to have it on the computer. But when people are just opening files to look at it, you can have it on your tablet. They'll see what you need to see. Okay. So when things are saved on your OneDrive, you can access it anywhere, and it's always backed up. Okay. So I, for the longest time, would avoid the OneDrive For a while, it had a lot of bugs in it, and it seems like they've gotten most of the bugs out. So now I'm using the OneDrive. But if you don't have a Microsoft account, in other words, if you don't, excuse me, activate your Microsoft account, you won't have access to your OneDrive. So this particular lesson tells you all about that. So this is lesson 3. So I will have you on your own go and look at the OneDrive, because if you don't have it, your account, then you'll have to go through that lesson to set up your account. It's not very difficult. Basically, as usual, coming up with a username and an email address, a Microsoft email. It doesn't have to be a Microsoft email address, but it's better if it is. Okay. Any questions? No? Okay, so let's talk about creating a new workbook. So I'm going to try once again and see if I can get you to hear. Tell me if you can hear it. If you can't hear it, then I'll just talk through it like I did before. Did you hear that?
It's just really quiet or real soft.
Yeah, and I have to figure out a way I don't have a mic. Wait a minute. Let me try my phone and see if I can get it that way. Okay. All right, let's try it. Hear that okay?
No.
No? Okay. I'll have to come up with a better way of doing this next time. So she's just saying what I just said earlier, that it's showing you that you can access your OneDrive from your computer, your phone, your tablet, your phone, whatever. So I'll go a little further.
Logged into Excel with your Microsoft account.
Okay, so you must log in and you'll see a little sign in button. And if I can demonstrate on my computer how that looks.
We heard the sound briefly.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try once again and see if my phone will pick it up a little better. I'll try once again. And where did it go? Yeah, it should be right here. Come on.
I'm not hearing anything.
Okay.
Me either.
Okay. So she's telling you how to get to your account. So what she's showing here is that I'm gonna mute it and I'm gonna see if I can talk through it. Let me mute it on my. So I'm gonna play the video. So she's showing you that when you open up your workbook and you want to access your files, at the very bottom. Wait a minute, what's she doing here? She's actually a little further ahead. Let me go back to my screen. I'm sorry. Let me go back to my screen and I'll talk you through it. Okay, so if I want to save something to the OneDrive, I'm going to go to File. And when you open up File, you'll see this case, this is showing you your templates in your recent files. But here on the left, at the very bottom, you'll see it says Account. So you have to click on the Account button and you will have to sign in. Now, I'm already signed in. There'll be a sign in button where you have created your account, given your username, not so much a username, but your email. So you'll see on mine, here's my OneDrive. And notice that I have a Gmail account as opposed to a Microsoft account. I would recommend you use a Microsoft account. It took me forever to get this thing to accept my Gmail as my account. I don't want you to go through that. And it makes sense, it's a Microsoft product. So an Outlook, you can say, gmajor@outlook.com, and it'll recognize it much easier than it did for me to get it to accept my Gmail. But once you do that, when you click on it and you see that you're connected, okay, and if you click on Open, you'll notice you'll see your OneDrive. So you can save things on your OneDrive, which is that remote drive, or you can save it on your PC. So if I want things on my PC, I have to click here, which means it's saved locally on my machine. But if I have OneDrive, that means it is in the cloud. Now, when you're saving anything or opening anything, you should always pay attention. Mary, you have your hand up. You're muted. I don't hear you. You have a question. I'm still not hearing you. Okay. I don't know why I'm not hearing you. Maybe you can put it in chat. Maybe I can answer it that way. Oh, your hand's down. Maybe you don't have a question. Okay. All right. I was talking about the OneDrive. Anytime you save or open something, up here it's telling you where it's looking. And pay attention to this. A lot of people don't pay attention to this. This is telling me right now that if I want to open anything, it's going to be looking in the OneDrive. If I had it here, it's going to be looking on my actual machine. So if I don't see the word OneDrive, it means it's not looking at the OneDrive. It's looking locally on my machine. So if I wanted to find something, if I want to open something, it shows here that I have a documents file and there's nothing in that documents file. I save a lot of things on my personal machine, but that's how you find out if you have a OneDrive. If you don't have a OneDrive, when you go down to accounts, you will not see, you'll just see a sign in button and it wants you to create a OneDrive. Once you have a OneDrive, when you save things, it'll actually, when you have a OneDrive, when you are creating something, a PowerPoint or whatever, it'll automatically save things without you having to tell it. It automatically saves things constantly to your OneDrive and you just exit out of it. If you save things on your machine, then you're going to have to physically tell it save as. And we're going to talk about saving save as later. Okay. I see that I'm running out of time here. I didn't realize how much time we spent on things, but let me continue on. So I want to go back to, whoops, not here. Let me stop my share for a second so I don't confuse you and confuse myself. I apologize here. Okay, let me get back to Excel. All right. Share. Ah, my computer's acting weird now. Yes, it will do at times. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start creating a document. I want to talk about the home key. As I was showing before, up here are some templates. Can anybody tell me what a template is?
It's like number one.
It's like number one.
Yeah, but all of these are templates, really.
Right. Everything's a template. Even a blank document is a template. A template is basically a fill in the blank form.
Right.
So the blank one is the one we like to start with, but if you want to do some other things, you can create fill in the blank forms, and every time you open it, it's going to be blank. Once you name it, it's no longer blank, it's no longer a template, it's a file. So there are all kinds of things that you can do. I call them ad hoc, which is really nice. You see calendars, and I'm going to show you all kinds of things you can do very quickly. So they got a lot of useful things, and they have some standard ones, and then you can create your own personal ones. If you want to create a personal one, it'll show up in here as well. Okay, so the open command means you're going to open something existing. On the left side, you'll also see what's called info. The info it just has a lot of good information. It tells you a lot about a particular file, who made it, the size, etc. And we're going to talk a little later about these other buttons on how to protect your workbook, how to check for issues. But right now, we're just going to talk about how to create a document. But it's important that you know the difference between save and save as. So let me go to, I'm going to open up a blank workbook. Okay. So this file tab is called the backstage view. Of course, Microsoft calls it that. Most of us just say the file tab. But there's a big difference between save and save as. Okay. Can anybody tell me what save as does?
You save it as at a particular name rather than the computer just saving it generally under a document in your computer. For example, if you wanted it to say ice cream, then it would save it under a file called ice cream, not just the file number.
I like to think of the save as creating a duplicate. When you save a file, it saves the changes. So if I'm working on a file and I make changes. Okay. Okay. It makes it a duplicate because you might have to mute yourself because we're hearing in the background. Okay.
Do you want to show me the areas?
You need to mute your, we're hearing everything. Who's the one that's?
That Dawn?
Dawn?
Mine's showing Cindy.
Not me.
Okay. Cindy, could you mute? Let's see if I can, you say it's Cindy? Let's see if I can mute Cindy. Okay, I did. Okay. So when you save something in Excel, it's only going to save the changes. So when you click the save button, you won't see anything happen. It looks like nothing happened. Every time you click the save as, you will get a dialog box like this that pops up. Okay. That's basically saying, okay, where do you want to save it and what do you want to call it? So it makes a duplicate. So if I want to make a duplicate of a document, I would click save as, and I would change the name and or location. So when you do that, you'll have an exact duplicate, one, the original and the duplicate. And it's the duplicate that you're going to want to, start working on and doing things. So that's the difference. So I'm going to, you might notice that initially, I'm just going to type my name in here so that there's data in here.
We're not seeing it on the
Not
screen.
seeing that screen.
try to refresh it. Again, this thing doesn't refresh. Stop, and then I'm going to share again. Okay. Do you see it now? You see it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All we see is a screen that says Gina in the corner.
Right, because I just put some data in there.
Okay.
So it doesn't have a name. At the top, it says book 2, means it does not have a name. So if I click on my quick access toolbar, this little button here that's supposed to represent a disk right next to the off button, if I click that, it just saved it as book 2. Looks like nothing happened. It's called book 2, but you want to give it a name. So I'm going to go to the File tab, and I'm going to tell it to save, and notice that the Save As window popped up. Okay, Save As says, well, we need a name, so let's give it a name. So I'm going to click on Browse, because I have to tell it where to save it. Okay, and I'm right now going to save it to my desktop just for convenience. And I'm going to write down here, it says book 2, and it tells me up here, and this is the most important thing, it's telling me it's saving it to my PC, not the OneDrive, and it's saving it to my desktop. Always pay attention to where it's saving it. People assume it's going to save it in My Documents or someplace like that. Sometimes it saves it in a weird place. It's a temporary file, and if you let it save it there and you exit the program, you'll never find it because it's going to go away, because it's only temporary. It's saying, I'm just going to save this in memory just really quickly, just for convenience, for the computer's sake, not your sake. And when you exit the computer, it says, okay, we don't need this anymore, and it deletes it. So a lot of people will lose, they'll spend hours working on their thing, and they think it's saving it in My Documents or where they think they're saving it, and they're trying to come back and it's gone. I've done that. I know how painful experience that is. And all the cussing and fussing in the world doesn't bring it back. So pay attention. Where is this thing saving it? So this tells me this PC on the desktop, so I'm going to call it test book, just to give it a name. Now I click save. Okay. Now, if I close this file and I open up, I'll find on the desktop a file that says, test book. It says it up here. Yeah. Now, if I want to, say I want to keep this for some reason, but I want to make some changes. So I'm going to go File, Save As. And now I'm going to change the name of the file, test book 2. Okay. I'm saving in the same place on the desktop, but it's got a different name. So when I save this, I tell it to save it. Now there are 2 files. One's called test book and one's called test book 2, and they're exactly alike. They're identical. Okay, they're both saved in the same place, but because I wanted to now do other things, I'm going to, put the name Hatcher here. I can spell my own name. Okay. Now, if I click on save, you won't see anything happen. It'll look like nothing happened. I'm going to click on my little toolbar here, click save. It is now saved. Test 2 is saved, and it has my last name in it. Test book only has word Gina in it. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, it's really important. Oftentimes you will get a read-only file, and that means you're not supposed to be able to save it, but you might like it and might think, I can use this. I want to use this for something. I want to make some changes to it. The only way to take a read-only is to make a duplicate of it. So you click Save As, and you change the name. You don't have to even change the location, just change the name. You could say, test book 2 mine, and it will change the name, and you'll have a duplicate. And now you can edit it and do whatever you want because it doesn't have the read-only attribute, which the other one does. Okay. So oftentimes, especially in tutorials like this, we'll tell you to download a file and we'll immediately tell you to give it another name. And the reason why is so that you can play around with it, do what you want. And if you should mess it up royally and need to go back to the original document is untouched. And you can go back and do it again. Okay, so save as. And here's what I like to use save as for. I work on the computer a lot, and sometimes I forget where the heck I've saved my file. Thinking, where did I put this file? As I told you, I can't even find my course calendar file right now. But anyway, when I'm working on a document and before I save it, I'm thinking, no, where did I save it? I will go to File, Save As, because it always tells me the last place this file is located. So it's on. So I might have thought I put it in my documents, and I see that it's on the desktop. Okay. So if you forget where you save a file, you don't have to save it again. Just open up the Save As to see where is it. This is where it's located. All right. Okay. So we've got print, export, etc. But let's. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to the file. So I'm going to click on the little left arrow up on my screen. Go back to the window, and I want you to play around, and on your own, I want you to kind of practice what you learned today. You can practice using your autofill handle. You can practice moving things. You can practice what we talked about on what a worksheet can do. Create your own worksheet. The best way for you to learn is for you to do, okay? So you've got until next Monday to play around. It's no homework. It's homework, but it's not something I'm going to check. It's something that you need to get used to some of these features so that when we start moving on, you have a little bit in the background, a little bit of experience to fall back on. You lose it if you don't use it. If you wait till next Monday, you're going to forget a lot of things that I just said. But I am going to send you an email letting you know when it's available in YouTube. And again, go back into the GFC Learn Free, go over that lesson if you need to. It certainly will. The lessons are not long, and you can take your time with it. I hope that you feel so far that I've given you things that you should know and are helpful to you. And I will send you the calendar so that you know exactly what we're going to cover the next day. The next week, I mean. All right. Any questions, comments, criticisms? Let me know. What am I doing right?
I have a question. If you want, when you use share screen, how do you share and go to Excel?
Okay. If I'm going to share a screen, I open that window.
Share screen?
Yeah, I click on share screen. I don't know if I've given everybody the ability to do that, but you should see some windows open, and the one that I want to go to should be open. I click on it, and don't forget to click on the little share button in the bottom right corner. A lot of times people will click on what they want and they forget to actually share it.
Okay, so you already have to have the window open that you want to share.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Gina.
Okay.
Learned a lot.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Okay. I will see you in a week.
Bye.
Okay.
And by the way, on my email, there is a phone number if you need to call me about something or my email address. Please feel free so I can get back to you if you have any particular questions between now and then.
Okay, do we use the same Zoom address next week, or you send us?
I sent it, yeah, the same one. The email that I sent you has all the dates, and it's this exact same Zoom link.
Okay.
Okay.
And Gina, is it possible for someone to register still?
Possibly. It would be nice. They haven't closed it, so I imagine you can. I will call TCC and ask them that directly. But I'm glad to see that the class hasn't been canceled. I worked a lot trying to get this thing ready and thought, oh no, they're going to cancel it? No. So I'm happy to see you all, and I will find out. I will get back to you directly about that. I guess when I send out an email, I'll mention that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.
Bye. And have a great day, you guys.
Okay, you have a good week.
Don, did you want to stay on?
Yeah, I still have a problem with that 5-10 progression.
Okay.
Do everything else. I just, for some reason, I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what, but I do get the black plus.
Okay. Do you think you can share your screen with me?
I don't know how to do that, but I click.
Okay. Do you have your Excel workbook open?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You should see in the bottom of your
I see.
menu, you see the share button?
Yes.
Click on the share button. And when you do, one of the windows in your share should be your,
Oh, I see. It gives me a choice of what window to share. Okay.
yeah. So click on the one you want to share and then click on the little blue share button on the bottom right. There you go. You're sharing.
Okay.
Okay, before,
Here's
I don't have your name, the other person that's on here, it just says 135. What's your name? And turn your audio on, I can't hear you. Okay,
My name is Kathy. I'm
okay, Kathy.
Kathy.
So you wanna, you need to have this information as well? You wanna, or do
Well,
you?
I came in late.
Oh, okay,
That's
well-
fine with me. That's fine.
yeah. So if you have a question, you're free to ask me, but let me help Don here with okay, so Don, click on okay, I see you got on 5. You see that little square at the bottom right corner?
I got
Okay. Okay, now hold down your left mouse button and
Okay.
drag it to the right. Release.
And
You
why
should
does it say 6?
It says 5.
Okay. But I want to go 5, 10, 15.
Okay, so I want you to click a blank cell and type in 5. A blank cell. Type 5. Okay, and now I want you to click in the adjacent cell, which would be what, D15, and click 10. All right, hit enter. Now I want you to select both the 5 and the 10. Okay, now you went backwards. Start with 5 and move over to 10.
So it'll actually go in reverse if I did it that way.
Yes, it will.
I see.
Oh,
So
okay, now I don't see, move your mouse to the bottom right, and you're right, you're not getting the plus sign. You're getting just the selection sign. That's interesting. I don't know why that's happening. What version do you have of Excel?
I checked and it's the latest version. If you want, I'll go
No,
to
I believe you if you say that.
my account and see I got Microsoft 365.
Yeah, and you've got, it looks like the 2013, maybe the 20, but that makes no difference. That feature has been around for ages. Okay, click on your back arrow so we can get back to your worksheet and let's try again. Okay, click in the February, the cell that says February. Okay, and move your mouse down, and then now hold down your mouse button, your left mouse button, and drag it to the right. Keep on dragging it. It's working there.
Well, I'll be danged. Huh.
Yeah.
So why does that work and not this?
Okay, now with the 5 that's selected, move your mouse over the 5. And now move it down to the little autofill handle at the bottom right of that cell. Okay, hold down your mouse. Oh, I forgot. You want to do the 5, 10. All right, let's try this. Click on 5.
Yeah,
Drag it to 5 and drag it to 10.
I'll drag it.
Yes. Okay, there you go. Now you see the little, move it down. Oops. Okay, you're pushing down the button too soon. Now drag it to the right.
All
There
right.
you go. Okay.
So let me see what we did here. I did that.
Okay, I see what went wrong. This now I heard you click. You don't click. You click and drag. When you click and then click again, you're selecting it separately. That's what the problem was.
So I click here.
And drag. There you go. Now you see the little autofill.
Oops.
You're still holding down. Let go of the button.
Oh, I see.
There you go. Now
All
click and drag.
right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
A lot of tricks to it. Now I made my mouse a little bit larger so it's easier for you to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change mine. I have it, set by default, but I'll see if I can change it.
Just a smidgen, you know.
Okay. All right.
When you
So,
watch the YouTube, you'll see how small it looks.
okay. Anything else?
No, that solved that problem. Now I just have to try it. Repetition. I try
Yeah.
5. Do I have to enter, or is there when I hit?
Well, right. If you just use the autofill right now, all you'll get is 5. It'll just autofill 5. It won't autofill an interval because it doesn't see an interval.
Right.
So click and drag. Okay.
Oh, I see. There it is.
Yeah.
Oops.
And
Yeah.
that's because you still have your mouse.
Oh, I gotta take my finger up.
Right. You got to take your finger off.
Okay. Okay. Great. Well, that's wonderful.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing wrong. All right.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Okay. So
When you do those online courses, you can't ask questions and
that's why I like Zoom. When I was doing online before, I missed seeing my students and not being able to, ask questions, hear questions right away, and have to wait for email. This is not as good as being, face to face, but it's better than not. So it said Linda. Is that your name? Did you tell me your name was Linda?
Kathy,
Kathy. I'm really bad with names.
Kathy
Okay.
Barmore.
Oh, Kathy, I was trying to get you in the class because I saw that you were.
I had trouble getting in,
Yeah. I don't know.
but I'm in now.
I saw your name several times. I was clicking to admit and it wouldn't come on, and I didn't understand why it didn't. but,
Well, I'm going to open a Outlook account so I can maybe get in better.
you shouldn't need an Outlook account to get in, but
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then that's good. Well, I'm glad I got in. I got in late, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm gonna take the lesson and I'm going to put it into YouTube. I've got to learn how to do that myself. But
That'll be new for me too. So that'll be good.
okay, well.
All right. Thank you so much, Gina. I really enjoyed this.
Okay.
Have a great
good.
day.
You too.
I like the fact that your videos on Canvas are still there.
Yeah, they are. I didn't take them down, and I definitely want to. I wanted to use Canvas, but TCC wanted me not to because apparently last time it caused a lot of problems. I'm not surprised it did because it's mainly meant for the students who are enrolled in TCC itself, and continuing education is separate of that. And so they made it more difficult having to go through the CTC link, and I can understand why that confused people. So I said, okay.
I am registered for the regular curriculum at TCC. I do continuing education and the academic courses. But it is more cumbersome, I think, using Canvas versus YouTube.
Yeah, when I realized that I can do it, just copy my Zoom into YouTube, and I thought, great, then I'll do it that way, and it's so much easier to access. So, all right.
Well, when you were playing the videos, the sound was very low. It was there, but it wasn't very loud.
Yeah, I've got to figure out how to do
Your
that.
audience is older workers whose not be as good.
Well, there's got to be a way of doing it. I'll find a way. I'll
Okay,
find a way. Okay.
well, thank you.
Hey. Yeah, this was great. Thank you, Gina.
Pleasure. Have a
Okay,
good day now.
bye.